We all love that. Pies footy, pies footy, pies footy. Give up on the boys, nah, why would we? Lines fell like my name, Dane Swan. Call me Sad Rocker, I'm lacing bombs. The G fly like Bobby in 23. Booba champ, that's the king, Pendlebury. Take off like Dacos, give the man a chance. Stay fresh like Quaino, I'm his #1 fan. Then fly we trust, yeah, that's real. Ain't a bottom side, nah, that's still side bottom. Check these rhymes that I'm dropping. My great uncle played for the Pies, Teddy Potter. I'm kicking straight like Billy Elliot. Kane wrote us off, silly idiot. The Pies are coming, young and old. Big ups and cassette, the general. Pies footy, pies footy. We all love that. Pies footy, pies footy, pies footy. Give up on the boys, nah, why would we? Good on Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side we stick together to uphold the Magpies name. See the barricades are shouting as all barricades should. Oh, the premiership's a cake. Walk for the good on Collingwood. After Maggie! Yahoo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Moving the Magnets for the game between the Pies and the Tigers. We're proudly sponsored by TSNL Neon, Melbourne's trusted signage specialist for commercial LED neon signage. For more information, the link is in the description. Benny Zero, how the heck are we going, my friend?
Well, not too bad for a Thursday selection night.
Yeah. A little bit of a spanner in the works. I mean, just going straight into it, really. A few late changes potentially, as Flyers sort of indicated in the pre-game press conference. So most notably the Isaac Quaynor one, suggesting that, with a potential foot, they're going to plan for a team with him and or without him. So I wonder if that has immediate impact tonight. So will they have a like-for-like defender as an emergency, or will they just go, you know what, let's just rule him out and get someone else in from the get-go and have them mentally prepared to play a game of AFL footy on Saturday night, knowing that from here on out?
Yeah, that'd be ideal, wouldn't it? And hello, chat and everyone in there who I've been talking to already as well. So that's I mean, as a player, you'd prefer to know now and have all that prep time, but you'd be just excited to get your call on Saturday morning. Hey, mate. Hey, Jacob, you're playing, mate. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. We'll get there. Let me actually, I've got my share screen feature on yet? No. So we'll go here. Where are we right now? So we are here. Now, as we read into the innuendo of the Craig McRae press conference, one of them was when he was talking about Angus Anderson and his position in the side and how he's played well. His time on ground has been limited at AFL level. He's not playing the true inside mid-role, so similar to Ned Long. He goes back to the VFL, has a good game, but also suggests in the same breath that Gussie won't come back yet, but also, giving Ned Long his plaudits for going back to the VFL and playing really well. So based on that, is that an insinuation that Ned Long probably stays in the side? And if so, that probably forces us to make some adjustments here?
Would know, mate, but that was probably the most information we got out of the presser. It was a whole lot of stuff other than that, wasn't it? Sort of just word salad a little bit, probably more so than usual, I thought. But yeah, the praise for players going back to the VFL, I loved it because it's what we say and it's what a lot of the boys here say. So really, really stoked about that part at least. He did praise Ned Long by name. Does it mean he's safe though? I mean, we're talking about Pendles, and the Pendles Long Allen sort of thing has been an in and out, and there's no way Allen's out, right? There's no chance, right? So I think Longy might be on the chop as predicted.
So we stick to our guns.
We try to, mate, but We
All
might
right.
as well. We might as well, right? We might as well. It's
All
the
right.
simplest sort of solution here. So we might as well. But then, like, you've obviously got, the IQ with a sore foot. Here's the thing. What they put on the paper tonight that comes out might have him on the field, might have a Ryan or a Parker as an emergency. Doesn't mean they haven't secretly decided amongst those groups as well, hey, listen, IQ, you're probably 20%, right? So we're planning this, but publicly we're saying this. You know, who knows? The thing is, if it's a Ryan, it would suck that. Oh no, he's had the debut, hasn't he? So that's all right. But definitely the lead up, like you said, it'd be more suitable if he was told sort of sooner rather than later. So maybe tomorrow at the captain's run, something like that. At least that'd be good, rather than like the morning of. I'm sure he'll prepare as if he's playing anyway, so that's great. But anyway, so there's that. Before we move on to the other possibility, anything else on there, or are you thinking a different player might be
Okay,
out?
well, so someone, I think MD is asking about, Darcy Moore could potentially be out for the season. There's no expected return timeline right now, and time is of the essence in this current season. There's so many things that have to go right for Darcy Moore to get a decent runway onto the season. So, like, I would probably err on the side of, well, you know what, like, he's had soft tissue history. It's hard to get back this late into the season. We're not necessarily struggling in the defense. If anything, we need more firepower in the front half. So it's like, okay, well, let's just give him I'm that close to saying just give him the season off and reconvene in the preseason. So there's that one.
Yeah, it was kind of a nothing burger, wasn't it? We didn't really get anything definitive, which is fine. They don't know where he's at, probably 100%. It's good that he's running. That's great. I did pick up though. Remember, he did mention the words, and they mirror stuff that a couple of clowns on here said in the Adelaide game about mechanics and running motions and things like that.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? I'm like, so they're onto it, as they should be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, of course. There's a clear, hopeful, a few amendments that could be made there. Demeter was mentioned. Now, Fly said Demeter will be in the squad, which must mean if there has been no debutant announcement today, then my best guess is he will be an emergency. So he's in the squad. His form's been acknowledged, so he will be here somewhere.
Yep. And Voidoid and I were throwing around before the stream started that there's a good chance to debut him this week. It's a shame we haven't heard about it if that's the case, and there's not a hoo-ha, but internally there could be. But that would mean someone like a Bo has to pop out, right?
If a Demeter comes in, yeah, exactly right. So you've got to have the guts to drop Bo McCreary, which I just don't think they're willing to do that just yet. So, yeah. Sorry, I've just lost me train and thought. I think was Lee taking something. I hope Lee wasn't taking anything personal in chat. I think.
No. He was just joking. Lee knows. I was calling us clowns. If anyone didn't know.
Yes.
I would never call anyone else a clown here.
Sorry, guys, got completely sidetracked there. So I mean, look, like I said, I think Demeter comes in. You're hard pressed to drop anyone other than a Ned Long. That's naturally for a Scott Pendlebury. I think like the only real other change that we could see, if they just look, we don't know the significance of the Quaynor injury. If it's a foot strain, I would imagine you'd immediately be conservative with that for sure. Yeah. If it's a rolled ankle, different
impact
story.
Maybe.
Yeah. All good, Lee, brother. Sorry, man. I just completely misinterpreted the conversation. So does that mean like if it's not a Quaynor, and now that Quaynor's under an injury cloud, you could almost 100% assume that Jeremy Howe will be in the side, right? So
yeah,
is it JR in for Quaynor if that's the case?
Personally, that's my choice.
What has
based
you?
on form.
What has you picking Ryan over Will Parker?
Oh, look, I think he's been building. And look, I wouldn't be disappointed if it was Parker. I liked how he was building in the AFL too. But to reward the VFL effort and his build up in the last few games would just I don't know, would just be a bit of justice, wouldn't it?
So yeah, we're probably leaning towards, all right, well, we know what Will Parker's about. Let's park him, mind the pun. Let's park him for a moment and let's get a little bit more information on Jacob Ryan. I mean, how many times he's been emergency this year? He seems to be doing a job at VFL level. And, you never know. Once you get put under the spotlight, who knows what that does for your game? Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But we will need to find out in the end.
And that's definitely the one where I'd rather know as the player. I'd rather know now than later. Even though he's played, like I said, I just think, don't stuff around like you said. But we don't know the games that go on behind closed doors here. We'll see. That might be a wait and see to Saturday, right?
What else was of interest? I've taken some notes. So McStay in the middle has been highlighted, and come to think of it, watching back McStay this season thus far, I feel like he has definitely grown into this second ruck role, especially since Oscar Steen's been out of the conversation. And look, it's not necessarily in the middle because his numbers don't really suggest that, and I haven't seen, I guess, a great return with McStay being like someone who propels us into clearance, but at least his around the ground work has been really good, particularly his intercepting. So good to see some growth there.
Yeah, that last game, he definitely, what was it, 3 intercept marks, I think, something like that. I mean, that's who would have thought McStay taking contested marks in the forward line and intercept marks around the ground at the start of the year. So that's a win. I really, really am happy with his return so far this year. He's already ahead of his most goals for us. I think we stated that in the player ratings as well. He knows how to hit up a player when he's outside 50 and he's looking in. He knows how to hit up a player. He doesn't bomb it long. He sort of takes the 20% off and tries to hit someone coming into space. And I think that's just a bit of forward knowledge as well. So, and I guess he's benefiting from that, playing that more centre half forward role. He does get to get around the ground. He's getting used to it. So, yeah, quite happy.
Yeah.
I really don't have a lot of things to sort of complain about, other than I'd love his accuracy to improve in front of goal when he gets it.
Yeah. Keep building on it. Hopefully, we need it. We need it. There's no other way around it. I mean, like Harrison Cove, we're not super sure on the guy just yet. So, and McStay's kicking goals. He's having like you said, he's having a Collingwood career season. And just on fly for a moment, Benny. He was very non-binary on the whole, or non-committal on the whole Darcy Moore, Braden Maynard injury status and so on and so forth. But where he was very clear about was not enough AFL listed players playing VFL asking the question to be selected. So he was very clear. I think he was asked that question twice in 2 different approaches, and both times he said, he basically said, hey, like they're just not doing enough. Non-binary Ds, as in like he wasn't yes or no. He was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Well, what our eyes see might be a little different to that. Westy is definitely knocking on the door. Ryan's definitely knocking on the door. I mean, some players have already kicked the door down and are in, right?
In lieu of who, though? Charlie West,
that's
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. What about, but Jacob Ryan? I can't agree with that.
Oh, no. I'm not saying, what do you call it, overriding another player. And I actually had a debate with someone on the stream for Flyers Presser. I'll tell you in a sec. But what I'm saying is if he says they're not showing enough, I kind of disagree with that, because there are players that are showing plenty, and I just named 2 of them. Others have already broken into the side, which is great. So I guess if you were to sort of, I don't know, expand on it a little. He's thinking they're not showing enough to knock someone out of the team, more specifically, because Westy, I don't know what more you have to do at VFL level to prove the point, right?
Yeah, correct. He
Yeah.
in another team with the exact same side, wearing different colors under a different coach, Westy is getting games at AFL level, just not with us right now, given the situation, given the coach, given the the culture and the everything that goes into selecting the team.
Yeah. Do you think there's an element of stubbornness there?
Element of stubbornness. Give me something a little bit more.
So he makes a decision. I want to play these players. He has a vision for them, the ones that are already in the side. Doesn't necessarily play out perfectly, but there's enough there's enough meat there to say this could still work. This could still be something. So therefore, I'm not going to interrupt it just yet. I'm going to leave Westy down there. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to be a little bit stubborn and just stick to this instead of sort of rotating in and out. I mean, is stubbornness the right word? Is it, or is it just sticking to your guns? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could persevere through the youth ups and downs, and the name in consideration. Maybe it's Pod, but is it like for like? Does it necessarily have to be like for like? Not entirely. So that's where I see an opportunity for Charlie West in this team. If we want to be pragmatic about it, I'd say yeah. You could make a case for Westy and for Pod for obvious reasons, potential, youth and whatnot. They're all sort of intertwined, but yeah, I guess Fly. While we have Pod on the list, I think it might be a 6-month contract. Maybe they're just saying, hey, let's give him 4 or 5 games here and now. We're a bit more sure about Charlie West than we are about Pod. Therefore, let's see if we can get 5 or 6 really good games out of Pod, then we can turn this guy into a Brody Myercheck 2.0 to a lesser extent. I think we can't undersell how much of an impact Brody Myercheck had for the club. I think he was a little bit younger when he came to the club as well. He wasn't 27. He was 25, 24. So there's still a bit of a gap there. So I think, this guy's on a shorter timeline right now, hence why it's probably going to be given a bit more of a stretch before we fully commit to Charlie West AFL level, which isn't far off.
Yep. So let the experiment play out. And I mean, it's not like Pod's undeserving either.
Yeah. Yeah. Watching his game back, I felt like he's shown some signs besides, missing the final touch. I felt like he did some good work up the ground.
Yeah. And you had one of his highlights that I mentioned on Tuesday in your package today. The one where he basically received it on one corner of the defensive square and kicked it across to set. I think it was Crispy on the other side.
Side bottom.
Yeah.
Side bottom.
Side bottom. Sorry. Yeah, that's the one. To set up that play, and I'm like, yeah, good. Someone's thinking, oh, I'm going to go to the fat side and create something here, instead of just bombing it long up the line. That's what I loved that. And then there was that pickup in the back line too. Fumbled the first bit, got the second, off he went, and that was great from there. So yeah, he's in orange, but bloody hell, it's harsh, right? It's harsh if he was to be dropped. Let the experiment play out, but yeah. Circling back round to the initial question, I still think there's guys showing stuff in the VFL still, even though we've picked it a fair bit. Swadling, Steen, and Angry earlier on too. Hayes, of course, Hayes. Well, he's injured, so he can't prove anything right now. But I think we've picked a fair few of those guys out, and there is a couple still remaining. So I don't know how. He wasn't like he was saying there's nothing there. There's no fruit on the tree. It's because the evidence is there, and especially last week was a great example of 2 players who had rippers, 3 actually, because Dimatia had a good. Sorry, I heard him say Dimatia, so I'm going to try and start saying it like that as from now on too. He had a good game too. So yeah, I don't know what sort of his exact meaning was in the comment. If I've looked into it too much, or we have, or it was just kind of let's just say this and pass the time as Fly does.
Well, we like to make the most of every point. That's why we're here,
Yeah.
so we can talk dribble. But I will be clear. It seemed like for certain Fly was implying that. I mean, when he talks about guys aren't performing, well, that in a way he's insinuating that if you're not performing, then you're not going to be up for AFL selection relative to.
Mm.
Are you breaking into this side, or are you playing well enough at are you just playing good VFL footy? So he was very clear about that, and it was questions related to selection and bringing other players up.
Yeah. And so, yeah, back to that other sort of side point I was making. There was someone in the chat, I can't remember their name. They said, I'm not going to give it to you verbatim, but it was something along the lines of, why are we still picking? And he had three names. And look, one of them I can agree with, but he said Sidey, Pendles, and Howe. Why are they still in the side? In particular, why is Pendles coming back and blocking development of a young player? And I commented saying, well, certainly for Pendles and Howe, they're performing. So do you want to drop a performing player based on a number, which is age, and that's your argument. You don't have the men blocking supposedly a developing player because their age is too high, despite the fact that Howe is having an excellent season, and Pendles is having a good season. Now I didn't mention Sidey because you could agree with that a little bit. The side to that was that. Why is it seen that they're blocking someone's development when there are other players in the team who aren't performing as well as those two, who could probably make way? Was kind of the crux of what I was trying to get at. But there seems to be this mentality out there that you don't select your best players just because of their age. And you could probably extend it to Membry the last couple of weeks as well, where he's been serviceable, and you shouldn't really drop him on that, despite the fact there's questions. Will he be there next year? And we have a youngster who could come in and have a crack as well. Not like for like as well. I agree with those two. But that sort of mentality, I know you and me haven't been that way. We're like, if you're performing and you're old, you're in, because we're trying to win.
I think there's some truth to like biding your time and serving your apprenticeship as well. I think there's that, like, people, like, these players aren't just suffering in the VFL. Like, they're asked to bide their time and to take their opportunity when it comes. Yes, at sometimes you perform well, then you're sent back down to the twos, and that's frustrating. But I think what's an intangible is the level of perseverance and resilience and persistence that's required when you don't just get given an opportunity for free here. I think there's a lot to that. And we're sort of entering this period, this timeline now, where it's like a couple of these guys have spent some time. Ed Allen, I know Harvey Harrison, you could say, but injured at times. Oscar Steen, maybe Di Mattia will be able to reap what he sows as well, AFL level. Maybe Parker, maybe Ryan, and then further down the line, Jack. Like, if in 12 to 24 months' time, like, these guys are still on a list and they're playing, we'll look back at this and say, well, geez, maybe the way we went about the slow route of development while our older players are still performing was worth the time. And no one will admit that until it actually maybe happens. Will it happen? Maybe. Will it happen? Maybe not. But if it does, people won't admit it until after the fact.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. But while they perform, right, they should be in the side. One, to help us win, and two, to help on-field coach the younger players that are there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And these kids, right? If these older guys aren't playing and performing, they're not on the list, right? And they're not there on the field at training, helping these players. However, if they're performing and they're keeping these kids out of the side at AFL level at the same time, at the very least, they still have these high-performing veteran players, whereas times gone by, and currently at North and Essendon and West Coast at times, they lack that veteran experience leadership where these players are actually still playing at the highest level. So then, they're all sort of just learning on the fly. Whereas here it's a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the side argument to that, which is why does it have to be those oldies are blocking them? Because there are others in the team who you could consider aren't aren't 100% safe because they're underperforming or however you want to word it. There's opportunity there, so it's not like Pendles comes in, he's stuffing it up uh, for DiMatteo, right? That's not a direct sort of. He's not standing in his way. Pendles comes in because he's earned it on form, right? And there could be another player in our side that's like, okay, they're not quite up to it. They're the one that's blocking development, assuming the coach is not making the decisions based on merit and things like that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just hard to blame the veterans on developing players not getting a go because if you perform, you perform. You could make the argument for side bottom, of course. Yeah.
yes. What else? Is there anything specifically you'd like to open up, Benny?
All right. Let's look at our opposition a little bit. So look, we've played obviously pretty well against them in recent times. I remember the last game last year. It was like a behind fest from us, which was frustrating. I mean, we only won by 5 goals, but it should have been a 10-goal win based on sort of shots on goal and how all that goes. So that I just hope that this year we can at least not go into our shell and do silly things, that we can use this opposition who are, let's be honest, they're struggling. They're 17th. They've only got 2 wins. If we can use this as an opportunity, as treat them as like a peak VFL side, and not do the slower stuff unnecessarily, right? So if we're 40 points up, let's keep rehearsing and perfecting our transition game. Use the minutes that we have to our advantage for the games that are coming, and let's just remove the bits of clay and get the statue we want and how we want it to look for these harder games coming up, rather than sort of slopping on shields and things like that. It's like, well, we know we're good at defending and over defending. Let's keep the switch flicked a little bit longer. What do you think?
Fucking hell, Benny. Have you been doing some PR work with Craig McRae? You just given him an absolute wallop earlier today, and that was the most Fly McRae PR spin I've ever heard come out of your mouth, mate.
Was it? In what way?
It was let's play the minutes that we have. Let's turn. Would you say something about statues and carving them out and all this sort of stuff?
Well,
what was that?
Bruce Lee used to say, you start with a big slab of clay and you slice away the stuff that you don't need until you get what you're trying to make, right? And what we're trying to make is a team that can score and win. We've shifted away from that hard defense game where it's too much. The balance isn't right. So we're trying to shift to this transition a bit more and sharpen it up. So we're removing the junk from it to get the picture we want, right? So that's kind of where I was going with that. We want to use the minutes we have to practice, right?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. What I want to see in tandem with that, Benny, is I want to see the grass from that centre square just stacked upon the players' boots. Like when they empty their boots at the end of the game, they should see grass that used to live in the hallowed turf of the centre square of the MCG. I want to see these players in particular. I want to see, and we saw it against Port. Who's carrying that ball through the centre? You'll see a Jeremy Howe or a Steele Sidebottom, and Pendles will see. They normally they'll initiate the move, and Josh Dacos at times will initiate the move. They'll get into the centre square. Nick Dacos is touching that grass. Ed Allen's touching that grass. Bo McCreary's touching that grass. So these players who have this speed and can just travel with the ball, and whether it's handball meters or just genuine running speed. I think that's where Ed Allen, if we haven't noticed already, along with his defensive assignments in the midfield, I think he's just really important to be able to carry the ball with the rest of the midfield group. Degoe as well is a part of it as well. I think those players are critical in that transition, in that center square, in that moment where you have to be sharp, you have to make the right decisions, players are coming up at you. I think that's really important.
Yeah. I can't believe you left out Lipper. He
See,
loves
that's
to get
the
involved
thing.
in those
Even
chains.
Lipper was in there. Lipper was in there doing those
Yeah.
transitions, clean hands.
He was in.
And he won't get noticed all the time, Benny, because he's a winger. He connects. And that hand pass before Bo McCreary runs inside 50, or that hand pass before DeGoey gets an option going inside 50, that's Lipinski who's released that hand pass in the midfield sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And they're the things that sort of go unnoticed. And they're not, what do you call them? They're not attention-grabbing touches, but he gets to the right spots and he does it. And then sometimes he'll let you down somewhere else when you want to see something more obvious, I guess. But you wonder how he racks up the possessions. Well, it's in those moments. It'll just be a touch here and there, and just receive, go. He might not even run with it. In fact, most of the time he doesn't. He's just the next guy in the line and gets it to the guys that you mentioned, like Ed Allen and Nick and Bo when he's on. And we go from there. And we do have guys like that, and that's just how it is.
Swadling's going to add to that, by the way. I'm sorry. He
Yes.
was a part of that at times, but limited game time. I think he's going to be a big part of it in these transition chains as well moving forward.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And he's got great touch, great decision making, and mate, we've showered him with praise this week, haven't we?
Yeah. Nah, very good, very good. Hoping he can build on it. There's absolutely no way he gets omitted tonight. If he gets omitted, I will run with just me jocks around Olympic Park. Mate, I'll take off work. I'll go to the captain's run myself tomorrow, and I'll run around, and I'll put a free swaddling on my skin, on my chest with some black and white Speedo jocks.
Yep. Fly. I want you to drop swaddling. Yeah, no. Don't worry about it.
You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. Go on, mate.
Oh, there's something for everyone out there, mate.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. We are 8 minutes away from selection, so we are locking in this kind of side that we're staring at right now. This is our best bet.
I think so. I think this is the numbers, the numbers game. Yeah. There could be something out of left field that makes us head plant, but I don't think so. I think you agree. And look, I had Bo out, but democracy spoke, so that's where we're at. We made many cases for West, and we tried to get him in, but again, everyone spoke, and there was a consensus. Nope, not this week. So it's like it's not like it's in the Pies community. It's not that it's clear cut that he should be in at all costs, right? That's what I kind of got for that. It's like, well, I kind of thought I was leaning towards yes, but there's others where it's like, no, maybe not. So it's not a super clear cut, right?
No, it's not. Longy, I think Rangatank, when we did the poll, it was close. It was close when we did the poll in the Pies presser on Tuesday. So, I mean, I'm keen to hear your other ideas. Do you think Pod comes out and Longy maintains? That's also a possibility. But outside of that, I mean, McCreary, like, do we dare do that? Benny would froth at that. Like, he would absolutely. He would get off to that post stream if he sees that. That's for sure.
You know why though? It's because I can see McCreary going back, sorting his stuff out, and then coming back in. Right? I can see it. I just a little bit of time to get his stuff together. It's never a bad thing in my mind, right? It's a process so that you can get to a better place in this team and then service as best you can. Because he's not quite there. We all know. But I mean, even the coach acknowledged it by name last week. That tells us a lot when he's actually starting to call out his club members.
Zaza with the juice. How much you want to read into this is up to you. But Alan's girlfriend is in WA studying. Rah. West Coast want him. He's gone. Still a bit to go under the bridge. I think. I don't think it's that simple. I mean, Zaza, it's Zaza's male, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm just not sure. But it's pure speculation at this point. Yes, he's from Western Australia. Sure, his girlfriend's in Western Australia studying. Who's to say, she's not trying to complete her degree and then come to Melbourne after the fact? So, yeah, we'll see.
There's details, isn't there? Who would know, to be sure? But, I mean, there's facts there. She's there. That's a fact. Cool. She might be finishing this year. I don't know. Does anyone know? Does anyone care? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We'll find out, won't we?
Ed's brother is in Vic, says Mallow. So there you go. The pendulum is swinging once again. The rest of Ed's family is in WA. Well, I don't know someone's telling me Ed's brother's here. The Zaza's saying the whole family's in WA. I don't know what's going on here. So
yeah,
maybe we need a screenshot. We need receipts here.
Yeah, I mean Mason Cox's family was in America, wasn't it? So I mean,
true.
Sure. I mean, players have to really. If he wants to play for West Coast, it'll happen, right? They'll make something happen. It's a shame. I hope not, but we'll have to deal with it. Up until then, there's plenty of players who don't play in their hometown for a long time, and yeah, as long as I think if we make him a valued member of this side, that he's going to feel wanted here. He knows, we can make it. Then great. Let's keep him here. Let's convince him with our performances by using him and giving him the chance to show what he can do, and we'll take it from there, right?
Yeah, and look, the home factor is massive. I understand that, and that's a possibility. However, wouldn't it be the story would be greater? Like, you've persevered, you've seen through Pendles, you've seen through side bottom, you've seen through Degoe eventually, and your tag team partner for the majority for the rest of your career is going to be that of Nick Dacos. Like, is there that? Like, the fact that you've gotten through this VFL apprenticeship and overcame that as it stands, and the fact that you're getting through the tough times where other players couldn't get through, i.e. a Finlay McRae, for example, I think it would be sweet to see that there would be some beauty and some strong learnings and reflection on getting through this time and being able to reap the benefits and be your own player, but also get to play alongside Nick Dacos for your entire career thereafter.
Yeah, that's like a very worthy kind of thing that you mentioned there, and builds your character up. The Nick Dacos thing, I mean, who wouldn't want to play next to him? It's amazing. But also I say, hey, Ed, perform well, earn a few bucks, get your family over here, invite them over. Come on.
I've been seeing this comment a couple of times this week, and I think it's an awful idea. Any chance McCreary goes to halfback to get a touch? He can't dispose the ball cleanly. He's a bit fumbly at times, so it's just an absolute. It's a big fat no for me.
Yeah, we agreed on it, I think, weeks ago, actually, when we first sort of started talking about him. We had the suggestions. I just don't like where his disposal's at right now. And look, it's not perfect back there in terms of how we're setting it up, but it's pretty good. I don't see how he will be an improvement to it. In terms of pressure and all that sort of stuff, absolutely. In terms of how he's gonna kick on with it, he hasn't shown it anywhere forward of centre to begin with. So there's either. Yeah. When I think of Bo's identity, it has to be out of the no man's land between mid and forward, because he's not coping with it too well, that sort of in between area. But if he can be a midfielder or a forward, I think that's where we're at with him. Give him some identity, and I'm happy to see him go into the middle and try and dominate. But for now, I'm thinking let's play him forward a bit and have all the pressure there and kick some goals.
Yep. Zaza. Smoking at Zaza tonight. West Coast list is better than ours. And then, come on. And then Nick Dacos isn't that big of a sell. Come on. Zaza, what are we on tonight?
Forget part two, but West Coast, you could say, their potential list, their ceiling might be higher. Potentially, right? You could argue that. But the Nick isn't a big sell, mate. People want to play with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Their list is better. Like, full stop is crazy. Like
Well, it's not
potential is
proven.
potential is potential. But as far as I'm concerned, they're a bottom four side as it stands.
Yeah, it's speculative at best, right? For now, if we're dealing, I mean, you and I try to deal with evidence as best as we can and what we can measure, and so far,
There we go.
there's not that much to measure.
Oh, as if we didn't know it was going to be Ned Long's 50th game had he stayed in the side. That would have changed everything, Rangatang.
Oh, we're scumbags. Did Ranga tell us? Did he? And we missed it.
No, he said it would be the most fly thing to keep Ned Long in the side. So, yeah, I mean,
geez, sorry,
Mitch.
Mitch.
Okay, it's not like for like. Okay, Demetia, by the way, in the emergencies, puncher ahead of Ryan, in my opinion.
Cool.
Then, if Quaynor doesn't get up, that's a potential debutant expected for sure.
Yeah. So obviously, no thoughts of. Well, there's two potential debutants there. Just you never know what happens on the day if someone's crook. But no. I guess Pod doing nothing wrong other than missing a few goals takes West's spot as an emergency. He sort of pushed him out. If we had 4 emergencies, West is probably there, possibly.
Yeah. Okay. So what do? We go a little bit shorter in the forward line. We have a little bit less presence in the forward line. Is that what happens essentially?
Oh, McCreary will maybe play more minutes there, and Ned, Ed, Nick, Geordie will all be the dominant minutes in the centre. A little bit of Crispy here and there, and a little bit of maybe a bit of Bo. I don't think it has to be that crazy.
It's a little bit shorter.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy, but maybe Pendle spends a bit of time in the forward line too, possibly.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like maybe you could argue West for Long in tandem with this selection, but like you've got McStay, Memory Buller there. Like it's not good for the pressure game that we live and breathe off and thrive off. So I see that. How do you feel about this?
I'm not horrified or anything like that. I mean, it's sad for Mitch. Like I said, nothing bad that he's done other than miss a couple of goals. He's a dynamic sort of forward, and as we've seen, he gets up the ground, so he's not lazy. That's good. All good signs. I guess it was they were tossing and turning a bit over who comes out for Pendles. But look, he didn't block the development of a young player, at least. Like, it's not like Swadling came out or anything disastrous like that would really turn a few people over. I'm not disappointed in how this has gone. We'd love to see Bo stay in the forward line for a majority of the game. Start from there and see if he can hit the scoreboard and do some damage.
So the positives, more than anything. Okay, we're not worried about Ed Allen or Swadling. We know their spots should be solidified, right? Otherwise, we would riot.
Yep.
Positives. Yep. Harvey Harrison keeps his spot. Ned Long has an opportunity to build on a strong game. Okay? And that's it. And really, the bottom line is we go in with a relatively unchanged team, which we haven't quite seen all year. Injuries, form, whatever the fuck, right? So I think, give me an out of 10, Benny. Prior to the game, out of 10.
For the reasons I've said, this is a personal rating. It's not a community rating. I would have had one more out. You know who it is. So I'll give it an 8.
That's pretty generous by you, Benny. An 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think so. What's wrong with the ins? Yeah. And what's wrong with the outs? Well, it's a shame for Pod, but it's not a disastrous out. My choice would have been either Ned or McCreary, right? One of the two. For who we brought in. The other one you could have thrown up is Sidey, but that would have been almost, hey, you're not coming back, mate.
Yeah.
It would have been one of them.
So prior to the game, say there's, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but Quaynor's are laid out. Puncher comes in as a debutant. Does that automatically raise the pre-game rating of selection or not really?
Nah. Yeah, I mean, okay. I see what you're saying. Sorry. Because I did have Ryan ahead of him. Is that what you mean? Like, does that
Yeah, well,
disappoint
Ryan's
me?
not there, so he's not going to be selected.
Yeah. Okay. So if I'm taking those emergencies into account, yeah, I might have to slip to a 7.5. But I don't know how Punch is going to go at AFL either. I don't know how Ryan's going to go. So there's a bit of a mystery to both of them.
And so after that, the rating, the interpretation after the fact can change based on, oh shit, we've all of a sudden unearthed Liam Puncher who can play a role in the backline where needed.
And look, here's the thing: if Q goes out, Puncher comes in and dominates, well, my rating was wrong. Then it should have been higher, and I stuffed it up. Right? It's not a mistake or anything of the selection. It's me thinking, oh, I underrated it. But we'll see.
Yeah. We're gonna start, Buzz. We're gonna start putting a ban on Benny and putting side bottom and omission in the same sentence. He's gonna feel the wrath of the dictatorship that is led here at Pies Footy very soon.
You know what? I'd love nothing more than for Sidey to just dominate a game on the wing or something and just shut me right up. Please do it. I'd love it. There's nothing wrong with being proven wrong. If Sidey
gets 30 touches this year, would you be willing to shave your head off completely?
I'd probably do it for less than that. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I'm not that.
Would you? Would you now?
Yeah, if you're going to attach something charitable about it, then that's a bit better. But there has to be a flip side as well. You know, if there has to be balance in the universe. If I'm going to shave my head for 30 posies, what if he doesn't get to 30? What do I get, or what's the punishment for the rest of the crew?
Just put your kahunas on. Just put your kahunas on the table. That's all.
Oh, I'm happy to, but there's always got to be two pairs, mate. When I'm dancing, there's got to be two. I don't shadow box, mate. There's always got to be someone there.
All right. Let me think. So, but you're saying you're willing to So basically, what you're saying is, we could put this statement on the line. Sidey will get more than 25 touches in a game this season. You would bet against that. I would bet for that, and then a loser does something essentially.
How we're currently using him? Yeah, I don't think he's going to get the 25s. 30, I'm highly dubious of. I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen. I'm stamping the head shave for 30. I'll just do it for fun, mate. Just to, I've always thought about shaving my head just to see what it's like. A bit of Lex Luthor or Jason Statham. I don't know. Not that
you realize the cameras are on, yeah? You know that there's cameras and there's recordings and there's people, screen recording as we speak.
Yeah, I just don't think shaving your head's that extreme. I mean, getting a tattoo like Dan Gorringe does, that's extreme, right? That's extreme sort of stuff.
All to the skin,
Yeah. Oh, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. Yeah. It'd be interesting. Maybe I'll find if I've got a brain in there under that hair somewhere.
All right. Hey, guys, I've got a birthday dinner. I've got to scoot off. We appreciate you being here tonight. Always some good fun and pre-game show Saturday and Sunday. Saturday morning, post-game after the game, and then I'm sure Mick, Magpie Army Chronicles, and/or Warble will be doing streams tonight and streams for the VFL watch along, right, Benny?
Yeah, Mickey's on at 8:45 tonight. There is a VFL watch along and a post-game after you on Saturday.
Beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you all, and as always, go Pies.